lot of great information available at those economic summits. A lot of great information available here on the show as well. So let's go ahead and dive into this because, look, people spend decades saving for retirement, but when it is finally time for them to take that step to actually retire, a lot of people still caught off guard by various things. Can you guys think of some strategies that those about to retire need to put in place? But more often than not, you find out that they've overlooked it.
Yeah, there's a lot of areas where a lot of people overlook some of the things that they could have. It's kind of one of the would have, should have, could have type scenario, right? One of the big ones that I run into is, health savings accounts. Health savings accounts are really a great opportunity to shelter some money. You can put this money away. It's tax-free dollars. So you have to have what's called a qualified high deductible health plan. And if you do have a qualified high deductible health plan, you can contribute tax-free dollars into this health savings account. And the funds that are put in there are basically used later on down the road, and they really come into play when you are into retirement. You can use these funds. When you take these funds out, they are tax-free. It's kind of like the Roth IRA, right? You put the money in, you pay tax on it when it goes in, but when you pull it out, it's tax-free. And you can use it for those out-of-pocket expenses, so if you have a plan that maybe you don't have any dental vision or hearing coverage, maybe some of them more expensive prescription drug plans, those high-cost drugs, you can use that HSA to pay for some of those things as well. It's a great way to save some money and lower your taxable income. I've got a couple of clients that got I had a new record high. I've got a guy that's got $95,000 sitting in an HSA account.
Wow.
Which is prior to that, I had a $70,000. So, once he moves through his retirement, he'll be able to use that money for several different items. And then the other thing that we see is a lot of people in delaying Social Security, right? You are eligible, as many of you listeners know, I'm now Social Security eligible, 62 years old, and I know I don't look at Nolan, but, a lot of people look at that and say, hey, I've earned it, I want to take that now, but a lot of people, might not realize that delaying Social Security is going to absolutely benefit you and could get some significant increases in your monthly amount that you receive if you put that off down the road.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot on different topics. In fact, on one of our earlier segments, we talked about the fact that a third of people actually claim Social Security at age 62, sure, accepting a lifetime penalty for a reduction of benefits. So, that is another good retirement strategy that people oftentimes overlook. The next one is, now that we're in kind of tax season time, a lot of people are thinking about taxes, looking at number 3, Roth conversion. So converting a traditional IRA or 401k assets to a Roth IRA can provide some of those tax-free benefits that you're talking about. Again, another way to kind of turbocharge tax-free income in retirement. This strategy really involves paying taxes on the converted amount up front, but it can be advantageous if you expect to be in a higher tax bracket in the future, and or you expect to have some really good profits on the investments that you own inside of that Roth. Number 4 is utilizing catch-up contributions. So good news, Scott, since you are a little bit older, people age 50 or older can play catch-up in the retirement accounts, such as their IRAs or 401ks. Taking advantage of these additional contribution limits can help boost your retirement savings, and those numbers just went up again here recently in the Secure Act 2.0. An area that we talk about, a strategy that people unfortunately overlook, and oftentimes until it's too late, but something that we talk a lot about in an area where these overlap is long-term care planning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's been a topic of a discussion for a lot of people coming in recently, and we've got Troy working on that with us as well. And, there's these new hybrid plans out there that will allow you to actually, the old traditional plans was you would have a long-term care policy if you go into a facility, and if you happen to pass away while you're in that facility, all of that money you spent's gone. Well, now they've got these hybrid plans where you can actually purchase a life insurance plan with a rider, a long-term care rider. You can utilize a portion of that death benefit. If you pass away, whatever death benefits left over can be passed on down to your beneficiaries. And this is an area where a lot of people overlook. quite frankly, it can actually bankrupt a retirement plan.
Yeah, I mean, at $10,000 a month, it doesn't take long before somebody starts writing checks, and it kind of wipes them out financially.
Sure.
So, taking a look at that and making a decision now while you're young and healthy and getting it checked off the box. And as you point out, there's a lot of solutions that people are just not aware of that don't require you buying traditional long-term care insurance. Something else is taking a look at what I would refer to as tax-efficient withdrawal strategies. So, people oftentimes don't put a lot of thought process into how to take money out of their retirement accounts. They just know they needed to build up their nest egg, and they just start automatically taking what I would refer to as pro rata withdrawals out of their retirement account. But there is a big difference on what your withdrawal strategy should be. Can impact things like your health insurance cost, especially if you need health insurance before the age 65. So looking at how you take money out of taxable, tax-deferred, tax-free accounts. I know we had a gentleman just recently that we talked to, Dave. Him and his wife were in last week, and Dave wanted to retire early. But one of the stumbling blocks that he had is he's a little bit younger than his wife. He has 3 years to go until he is eligible for Medicare. So he initially looked at what the cost of quote, affordable health care was going to be, and he was like, well, I can't retire for 3 years. But what we showed him is if we were able to get his countable income down to that $40,000 or $50,000 range, his monthly premium actually went away because of the credit that he got.
Sure.
Now, he still had an out-of-pocket maximum, but his health insurance cost really just kind of went away, and it was a matter of taking and creating that tax-efficient withdrawal strategy. So, this guy thought he was going to have to continue to work. We were able to show him how we can get that health insurance cost to go down just by doing tax-efficient. Another strategy is looking at the asset allocation adjustment. So we talk about retirement time as a point in your life that you need to have a mind shift. So what you normally do is you save and accumulate money in these traditional tax-deferred retirement accounts. It's extremely common for people to have what I would refer to as like target date investments. But when they retire, it's a whole new ball game. And really what they need to do is they need to look at how to position their portfolio to get them through the retirement years, and leaving the asset allocation like you had it when you were working oftentimes is not the way to do it. You want to follow a process that we call the independent income system. Estate planning and gifting. So we'll get together with people and let's say, hey, I haven't updated my estate plan since my kids were little, and now they're 35.
Sure.
So things change over time. Strategies and gifting strategies can be different, and looking at making sure that you have the updated healthcare system as well would be the third final area. So healthcare cost, I think on a previous segment we talked about the fact of an average couple's healthcare expenses now is projected to skyrocket. It's all the way up to $411,000 is what some of the estimates show. So the healthcare, and again, as we were talking about earlier, making sure that you understand how to navigate not having your Medicare premiums double or have affordable health care cost that gets out of control, knowing what your supplemental coverage is, knowing what your out-of-pockets is, and knowing things like traditional long-term care insurance are not going to be covered with Medicare. These are all the things that really kind of roll up into retirement strategies that people often overlook. This is an area that I love helping people out with. This is what we do is we create what is called a team action plan for folks. So when you come into the office and we sit down, we have a conversation, what we're going to do is we're going to find out about your goals, your objectives. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that information, we're going to create this financial inventory, we're going to go and create an investment policy statement for you, and then we're going to write out a team action report. So we're going to look for those retirement strategies that maybe you've overlooked. We're going to look for any maybe blind spots that you have in your finances, and or look for opportunities to help you become more confident and or potentially earn more money with your retirement dollars so you can be stronger in the future. So, maybe you've been first time listening to the show, maybe you've been listening to the show for the past 20 years that we've been on, and now is the time that you're ready to take it up a notch and look for those strategies and say, 2024 is my year. Just know that we're a phone call away.
Yeah, Nolan, that Troy and I Troy brought in a client, a friend of his mom, and during this discovery process, we moved her Medicare, wrote her Medicare plan. She just turned 65 the early February. But in the process of this whole team concept, we discovered that she had a life insurance policy. So she brought that in, and we discovered in reviewing that her deceased husband was the beneficiary on the plan. She's got 3 children. So we are actually in the process of writing a new life insurance policy for her. And then we went through and looked at the ultimate estate planning guide that we've created. And I told her some things there, which we've uncovered some other areas where she needs to get together with a couple of other people in the office here. So like Nolan said, this is what we do. We love helping people. It's kind of what makes us tick. And that's why we're here. We're here to help you.
There is more to retirement planning than knowing what your last day is going to be and that first trip that you're going to be. Those are the fun things, and certainly factor those in, but make sure that all the other T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. The team at America's Retirement Headquarters, they can help you with that process, walk you through it, and make sure that things that you hadn't considered before don't become bigger issues down the line. That phone number is 419-794-3030, or you can schedule a time as well and find out more about the upcoming semi-annual economic summit at arhq.com.